to Super Talk Show, all the co-founders from Neigh. So hello, Helen, Haley, Satwik, and Neil. Welcome to Super Talk Show.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this is actually the biggest Zoom call for Super Talk Show. Yeah, it's the first time. So can everyone start with a short introduction about yourself? You can go anywhere with the introduction, and yeah, we'll go in a round.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm Satwik. I'm kind of like one of the developers in addition to Neil that kind of works on the app. I'm a incoming junior in the Bay Area. And so I kind of helped out on the back end coding of our platform and currently working on our iOS app.
Yeah, I'm Neil. I'm also a rising junior from the Bay Area. I worked on the development and also conducted a lot of interviews. Yeah, I worked with Satwik on part of our web app and our MVP, and yeah.
My name is Haley. I'm also a rising junior. I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I've been working on branding and marketing for Neigh.
Yeah, my name is Helen. I'm a rising sophomore in Portland, Oregon. And on this team, I work as a business developer, meaning we interview the initial market, and then we get sales, going door to door, knocking on them and telling them about our service and having them buy our product.
Wow, that's really cool. And I see a great dynamic from brander, business developer to builders on the team. Two of you mentioned, Satwik and Neil mentioned about both being in the Bay Area. So I'm wondering, how did you guys all hear about LaunchX as a summer program?
Yeah, so personally, I know a lot of kids from my school, although technically Neil and I actually live pretty far away, but we're in the Bay Area vicinity. A lot of people in the Bay Area have done LaunchX as the summer program. And I know a lot of people that, they're off doing great things. And a lot of them say that one of the contributing factor to where they are and a lot of what their most memorable experiences in summer was LaunchX. And then personally, I was also, starting a company before this summer. And so a lot of the things that I was running through, especially because I'm kind of like a technical founder type of guy, was I had no clue what I was doing business wise. And so especially now, retrospectively looking in the past 5 weeks, I know for a fact that when I came to LaunchX, I was really looking for that business idea and the prototyping that I needed to learn beforehand.
Yeah, my situation was kind of similar to Satwik. I'd heard about it from a lot of friends living in the Bay Area. So I wanted to give it a shot because I wanted to learn more about entrepreneurship. It's always been a dream of mine to start a company and start a startup when I grow up after graduating. So yeah, I just wanted to learn more and also yeah.
Mm-hmm. Helen, Haley, want to add in?
I learned there's this other boy from our community. We have this Oregon Chinese Coalition, which is this giant community of volunteering and all these opportunities. And one of the students there mentioned that he also joined LaunchX. And after searching it up and seeing all the videos and reviews, I thought that this was a really good opportunity because unlike other camps, which is just teaching and having lessons, we could actually just hands-on opportunity. You could apply what you've learned to your own startup. And I thought it was a really, really great opportunity. So I really wanted to join.
For me, I started a small stationery business over the pandemic. And so that's how I got interested in business and entrepreneurship. And so I was looking for some program that would help me learn more about entrepreneurship, but there's not that many programs that do that. And then I found LaunchX, and it seems like a really big and good program where you can meet other people who are also interested in entrepreneurship. So that's how I decided to apply.
Mm-hmm. I think these are all great stories coming from you guys. And I want to ask about your startup. So do you guys mind presenting Neigh to the super audience?
Yeah, so Neigh has this grand mission of trying to connect the world in this very disconnected time, one neighborhood at a time. And so one way we realized of how to connect this in a very intimate way of these neighborhoods is trying to find a way where we can help create a platform that allows people to share things. And so the first way we're doing this is we're creating a platform that is a two-sided marketplace for people to rent out tools. We feel that this idea of like sharing is caring is really essential. But not only sharing kind of a form of caring, but it's also a very smart thing to do, right? So a lot of people, when they need to renovate or they have any seasonal things to do, like a lawnmower or like, dust off your driveway, you don't want to really buy that because you're not going to use it every single time. You're going to need it temporarily. And so there isn't really any good platform where people can kind of offer these tools that are just sitting around in their garage or in their house to help out people that might need it only temporarily. And so we've created this platform kind of similar to, how Uber, DoorDash, a lot of these companies are doing, but we're doing it for kind of like helping out this idea of rental for tools. And we're planning to scale all over to like books, to anything that you can kind of think of when it comes to rentals. So that's what we're kind of working on. We're creating a cross-platform app. And so our whole idea is trying to create this platform that's just making it super easy for people to get these things done. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. And when you were mentioning about that, I thought of, in Poland, where I'm currently based in, there's usually secondhand markets where sometimes we go around and see people's old stuff, what we can make use of it. And really, there's not really a virtual market or a platform, a centralized platform where people can share and communicate what they need. And someone might be able to supplement their needs. So how are you guys planning on branching out to like all the communities across the world? Because I think this is probably a burning hair problem that some communities do need.
Yeah, so I'll go off and I think Helen can kind of talk about this too, because she's been thinking a lot about execution and so has Haley. But I think one thing that's really beautiful about LaunchX and how our team has been kind of planned is that we're all based in the West Coast. And what I like to say is we have full access to the West Coast, all the way from north of Oregon to all the way down to Southern California. We have access to all those neighborhoods just because of where we live and who we are. And so our go-to-market strategy has always just been kind of accessing these neighborhoods and going one neighborhood at a time. We've been following this principle from the very start, and I've been telling our team this still a lot. It's better to have 100 people that love you than 1,000 people that kind of like you. And so that's kind of what we've been going at. We're trying to, make sure that we have a very intimate relationship with the neighborhoods that we've launched to, especially doing things like, one thing we've been doing, trying to do with transactions is, go out to those neighborhoods that are, or those houses that are working and helping out lending and renting and, help them out, right? Maybe do some deliveries for them just because we want to make it such that they know as we're that company that, takes the extra effort to help out these companies. But I think Helen and Haley can kind of talk about how we're going to scale out to other neighborhoods after this.
Yeah. So to connect to what Stavik said, we're starting out like small, right? And then we're going to branch out. So a lot of small companies start like in their own neighborhoods, which is what we're doing. And eventually we're going to connect with like other boutique vendors or like hardware stores like Home Depot and maybe like Ace Hardwares, like mostly like Ace Hardware that doesn't have their own like rental system outside in other states. And once we connect to them, we can start like branching out within their neighborhoods and like, I don't want to say like a virus because that's not a good thing, but like, when it starts spreading out in like small corners and eventually we'll be able to like take over the entire state, to take over the entire country.
Yeah, so it's kind of just this idea of like word of mouth, right? So we're living off of this idea of word of mouth, and like Helen tried to say, kind of like a virus, I guess, kind of just compound and have people, who really like this app, so that they can suggest. And we've made sure to kind of implement features on our app that make that form of virality possible.
Yeah, and as they mentioned, as we expand our business, we want to grow from our West Coast and all throughout the US. And we will also be hiring more people, I believe, for our company to just grow. And so we'll probably be hiring from starting at the West Coast and also other parts of the US so that we can expand there and get more access to neighborhoods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Satwik and Helen touched on this a little bit, creating a whole delivery infrastructure. And what we discussed about that is we can also do something similar to how Amazon does it with their lockers, where if we were to create like a locker, a locker type of system, you would be able to, you would be able to connect two communities together instead of restricting it within just one community. Because theoretically, let's say you put a locker in between two communities, one person from community A could go and put their tool in that locker, and then the person who wants it from community B could go pick it up from there. And that really ties in with one more of our missions and what we're trying to focus on with Neigh, which is convenience and safety.
Yeah, and so I think that's why like we've also with that infrastructure project, we've been trying to focus on urban neighborhoods too. So a lot of our like initial user market was like new homecomers, comers, especially in the 20s who just bought a house, just graduated from college, and they're starting to get used to the adult livelihood, and so they're also probably really frugal, and so going out to like places like San Francisco and maybe scaling to like New York and trying out this infrastructure plan has been kind of one of our goals to do such thing.
Well, that's a long answer and it was really insightful. I want to touch on what you guys quickly mentioned. So I heard you guys are doing an app. And I think my YouTube channel can back me up on this, but for all the LaunchX startups that I've interviewed, none of them are actually building or coding their app by themselves. They're using no code builders like Wix, I don't know, Glide to build their web app and websites or websites. So how was that experience like for you building from
Yeah.
or a template?
Yes. Yeah, so I think we're lucky in saying that a lot of us were initially good coders. I can say for a fact that Neil's an amazing coder and he's done an amazing job with his work. And I've done code for a long time, ever since I was 8. And so I knew a lot about web app development as well as iOS development. And so, I mean, it's also a learning process, right? As founders, you're going to have to learn the different skills on the way. But yeah, I mean, and we're always told in LaunchX to start testing the offering. And so one of the things that we did week 1 of LaunchX was like create a quick web landing page and Webflow, and just trying to test how many people can join the app. And then with MVP, obviously, because we knew how to code, we kind of created a simple CRUD app. And so, that allowed us to, get like simple postings of, simple user authentication, and kind of like create the what they say, the most minimum viable product, right? And so what can get them what's the least to get the most done, right? And so that's at least the coding wise, it wasn't too difficult, but obviously, like I said, you got to be frugal, you got to learn along the way and kind of be a little bit scrappy with it. Yeah.
Okay, great. And Helen and Haley, I want to hear from you guys about, in LaunchX, wait, am I losing my connection? I hear my own voice. No?
Oh, no, you're good.
Okay. So Helen and Haley, in LaunchX, there's the huge goal of earning or getting $250 for pre-sales or just selling. How has that process been for you guys? Did you reach the goal? Because I know not every startup I interviewed did.
Oh yeah, we actually reached $270 in sales, so that was really great. Neil had this amazing idea of doing like a introductory offer, because our app works like someone lists the tool and someone else can rent it for a price, and we take like a 20% commission fee, so that's how we get our profit and revenue. But because like we just like finished our MVP, it was kind of hard to start getting transactions. So using Neil's idea with our $15 introductory offer, we were able to like go to like our close family, friends, our neighbors, and ask them to sign up for introductory offer, which basically means that their first 5 listings, they can like sell it for 100% and they get 100% of the profit, and we don't take any commission fee. So a lot of people were interested in that, and actually 18 out of our original 26 like interviewed people sign up for our thing. So we were able to get a lot of sales from that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, I mean, it was a lot of work that we did. I mean, as a team, I can say everyone else did, especially, I mean, I was learning from, what Helen, Haley, and Neil were doing just with the cold calls. It was crazy to see. And I think, it really taught you how to sell, especially because that offer was a really brilliant offer, because it's not just the initial buyout, right? Like when I lend a tool, it's not like, okay, I got $30 that day. It's also, I can do that recurrently, right? So if I have a tool and I, initially sell it for $30 a day and then I get it back, I can still rent that tool on the platform. So it's really a form of passive income that we're trying to sell, which was really a good idea for especially my friends, and who really, like, they wanted to get spare change during the summer, that they had a lot of things lying around, and especially, parents that, have a thing for, saving money, they really like that idea too. So it was a really fun week of just selling and doing those cold calls, but a lot of insights come from that week too.
We also went onto Etsy and we asked people who sold tools, would you be interested in putting them out for rent instead? Because as Salwik mentioned, it is the system of passive income, and they could be making more money off of putting their tools for rent instead of actually selling them. So I think we contacted about 7 tool sellers on Etsy, and we did get responses from several of them. I I have to say it was kind of hard when they said like, oh, sorry, not interested. But then those few people who did say, oh, I'll look into it, or I just signed up, things like that. It was really motivating. And as much as cold calls are kind of scary, it kind of makes you want to keep going.
We also learned about incentivizing the process of a sign up in the way. And one of the things we actually did was, while contacting boutique vendors, which Haley did an amazing job on by contacting them on Etsy, was we actually decided to only take 15% of commission from sales from small businesses and other vendors, opposed to 20% from homeowners and just the general public listing their tools.
Yeah, it's kind of like an incentive structure to get that, and so that was been really helpful for like small boutique sales, because it's kind of like an incentive structure for them. But yeah, over time that kind of developed into different revenue streams. We got a lot of different ideas from that. In addition to how DoorDash has Dash Plus, we had this idea of like Neigh Plus, possibility of delivery options, locker options. So everything has kind of just kind of became the snowball effect of like different ideas that we could kind of add into our MVP. So yeah.
Yeah, I think in the process of you guys answering that question, Haley just answered my next question, which was like, how's the cold calling process for you guys? And wait, hold on, what happened to Zoom? Okay, I lost my thought. Oh, I was like, okay, this is a really cool idea that you guys are building. It might be the future, like a future, for example, Uber tools. So as a bunch of co-founders, what's one of the last tips you guys have for the super audience before we leave the interview?
Yeah, so I guess I'd say, for advice wise, I mean, I think I would have probably 3 pieces of advice. The first thing is, especially as a coder, one thing I've learned coding from and how to build good products is find a list of ideas and daily problems that you wish to solve, and then just try to build it. Any product that you like, just try to replicate it in your own ways. No matter how crappy it may look, it's you learning and trying to iterate and become a better product. The second thing I would probably say is, along this process, I've been asking every person that I meet, especially elective leaders, these cool speaker series, what books they like. because often those books are the foundational text of who they are. And so, with those book lists, I think reading and getting those key insights have been really helpful. And then finally, I think the best thing I would say is probably networking is probably one of the most important things as a high school student. I think the fact that we can call each other high school students is an asset to get a lot of opportunities. And I feel like for us in our age, the cold email is probably the single best action that we can take. So definitely, like, networking with people, reaching out to like investors has been an idea for how we get funding and stuff like that. But yeah, cold emails are perfect. Read books, and definitely just iterate and learn the process of building cool products.
I would say definitely, don't be afraid, go for it. You got this. If it flops, it flops. But I'm sure there will be a major takeaway from that experience, and you can use that and restart or try something new. And it's not always, and one more thing to keep in mind is that it's not always you that's the problem. Let's say it flops, it's not you. It could be, you need to keep in mind that it could be that the market's not ready for it, right? Or it's too advanced and people aren't comfortable. Completely switching and adjusting to it. So yeah.
For me, I think something a lot of the young audience might be struggling with is finding what you're interested in. And for that, I think what you really need to do is just try out everything. Like, just try out a bunch of different things, put everything you have to it, and see, oh, is this something I'm passionate in? Is this something that I could make something out of? And then that really helps you find what your passions are and your interests are, and it can help you guide you through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and for me, as one of the people who had to like go door to door to ask people to sign up for our product, it's really nerve-wracking. But something I always say is like embarrassment is temporary, regret is forever. And I always think like, oh, if I don't do this, I may regret it in the future, and I can never come back and change it. So for like the audience, I think if you want to do something, just go for it. And if it's embarrassing, just laugh at it, but know that like the experience you take from that is much more important than what you're feeling. So just go for it, like do what you like, and good things always come to you.
Wow, thank you so much for these feedbacks. Not feedbacks, but tips. I think I've said this so many times to different startups. You guys are like have the best idea from LaunchX 2022, but so far I think you guys do have the best idea, and I look forward to seeing what you guys can accomplish as a team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
For being in
Thank
the
you.
talk show.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.